Hey, we're live. This Life in Tech, episode 91. I'm Jason.
And I'm Dan.
Dan.
I was trying to say it like I'm Batman, but I'm Dan.
Which Batman, by the way?
Definitely not the most recent one.
How well do you think this Aquaman movie is going to do? This is not at all what I had planned to talk about, but screw it.
It's going to suck. Aquaman is still arguably the worst superhero ever.
He swims with fishes.
Yeah, like, dude, I mean, they didn't follow the Godfather reference.
I know, exactly. I mean, at least they could have made him be more mafia-like.
Right. Well, and so, I mean, God, man, I don't even know where to start with this.
The second worst is still Iron Man.
No.
Horrible. And then Captain America. Those are the bottom three. Wonder Woman's is also in the bottom five.
Boy, our numbers are going to start spiking now.
Well,
horrible, horrible superhero.
Why is Wonder Woman horrible? Now, this is interesting. And I know this isn't like a bait for a gender thing, but as a character.
I don't find it to be, I mean, a lasso of truth.
Well, see, this is the thing with the lasso of truth, though, man, is like there's probably some deep neckbeards that the idea of a lasso on what ostensibly is a hot chick excites them because of the BDSM reference, right? But it's like a light-based truth, which negates the darkness of it, right?
Yep. And then rounding out the bottom five is Superman because he's just an alien. There's not a superhero.
Totally Superman. Spider-Man would be on my list.
Of bottom five?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's somewhere in the middle of the pack for me.
Now, The Punisher on AMC, or excuse me, Netflix, is where it's at.
Well, it's a decent show.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can make an argument for, like, in the top two, and they're interchangeable to me. It's either Wolverine or Batman. It doesn't matter to me which.
Where do you put the Incredible Hulk?
My top two. Huh?
Where do you put the Hulk?
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack.
Dude, mainly because he's a coward.
Wait, the Hulk is a coward or Banner's a coward?
The Hulk is a coward. It solidified it for me in the last Avengers movie. The Hulk would not come out because he was scared of losing and therefore wouldn't even come out.
Wow. Did you like the last Avengers?
Yeah. I dug it. Even though, you still have some really, two of the bottom five superheroes are in it, but, and it just solidifies that, like, the Hulk was in my top five until the last one. I've realized he's a coward. He only wants to fight when he knows he's going to win.
Fair enough. How about Doctor Strange?
Oh, loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I like the movie, but I don't think he's in my top five.
He's definitely in my top five.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't argue with the Punisher.
Yeah.
An avatar of retribution, I think, is compelling.
Yeah.
And the Netflix series is top notch.
Yeah.
Wolverine.
I have Batman, Wolverine, just because, I mean, you can't get much cooler than a dude that just literally is smoking a cigar and beating you all at the same time.
See, I put Wolverine way down on the list, man.
I like Wolverine. I like the character Wolverine. I'm gonna have to think about this one, writing down my list as we're going through this.
Yeah, I noticed. I would agree with Batman definitely being top three. He might be number one for me as well.
Yeah, I just go back and forth. I mean, Batman to me is the reason why he's such a hero is he's mortal.
Yeah.
It was zero superpower. Zero.
Yeah.
No super intelligence, no super strength, no super nothing. Maybe super cash. I mean,
yeah, but that's super one. Right? He chose to put himself in poverty to learn how to survive. Yeah, I mean, he went without everything. So now I figure out definitely any character that Ben Affleck played outside, I don't consider this in the Batman because I'm just removing that one from my head is just out. So that just takes out Daredevil. So he's gone. He's off the list.
Wow. You really don't like Ben Affleck, huh?
No, definitely not. I don't think he's a good. He's arguably the second worst actor in Hollywood, with Nicolas Cage being the worst actor.
Oh, how dare you, man! How dare you?
Oh, man.
Wait. There's a connection though. You know, Nicolas Cage played the Ghost Rider.
I know that was also horrible.
The Spirit of Vengeance.
Are you ruining my train of thought? I got to go back through my list of superheroes here. Or you all can keep going. I got to figure out what my top 5 is now. Because the Hulk used to be number 5, and now that he's a coward, I just can't do it.
I watched Black Panther with my son the other night. We loved it.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's on Netflix. You should watch it.
Oh yeah, I see it there in the queue.
Good. They got good tech in there too.
Not interested.
Not interested?
No, I don't like the whole. For the same reason I don't like Wolverine. Like, you know, what I don't like about those characters is they have their MacGuffins built into them. And what I mean by that is, so Wolverine as a character wouldn't exist without his adamantium skeleton. But yet his skeleton isn't his power. You dig what I'm saying? Like,
well, he exists before the adamantium.
What?
He did exist before then.
He did, but not as Wolverine. Right before Wolverine, he was Weapon X.
Oh, you're talking about when he changed his name. Okay, I got you.
Well, I mean, so he
it was just Bone at that point. Like,
yes. And then he became part of what was called Alpha Squad or Alpha Strike, which was a Canadian X-Men. And they turned him into Weapon X.
But it wasn't his choice. That's the part. He didn't choose for that to happen.
No, exactly. They essentially kidnapped him and bonded the adamantium to him.
Yeah.
It wasn't Superman's choice to be Superman either. He was born on Krypton.
That's why I don't consider him a superhero, because he's an alien. So it just doesn't work for me.
Whereas Batman chose to become Batman.
Yeah.
And the Punisher chose to become the Punisher.
Exactly.
See, and so people make, and I think you and I have talked about this before. Tell me what you think, Ken. People make the analog between Iron Man and Batman, and I think that's only because of their filthy wealth. Whereas to me, Batman and the Punisher are the correct analogs between DC and Marvel.
I agree.
No superpowers, no bullshit, just straight retribution.
I feel like Iron Man is making up for his father's missile weapons past, like they did in the first. You know what I mean? Like his guilt. The sins of the father are visited upon the son, so to speak.
Yeah, I could see that.
Sure. Well, and some of these characters have those archetypes built into them, or pieces of them anyway. But yeah, I've never found Iron Man appealing. If I want to watch Mecha, I'll go watch Robotech and get back to the original source. You know what I mean? I don't need a dude in a robot suit. What the fuck is that?
True.
I like my dudes in tights.
That's not shocking at all. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's what you like. That's what you like.
Which, by the way, if you remember correctly, in Punisher War Journal number 6 and 7, this is in the early 90s, late 80s. I don't remember exactly. It must have been the early 90s. The Punisher beat the shit out of the Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Manhandled him. And what I like about the same thing with Batman is it's just willpower.
Yeah.
There's no special ability. There's no cunningness. You know what I mean? It's just raw aggression. Now, of course, the difference is the Punisher certainly doesn't mind actually killing people, which Batman's shtick is, no weapons, so to speak. No ballistics, let's say. No killing.
And I'm okay with that. Because
love the concept of the Punisher. Taking the bad out of the street, just judge, jury, executioner. Hey, Judge Dredd, that's your favorite, Dan. Is that your 5th favorite?
No, that's not even a superhero.
He's just like Batman. Judge.
And the Punisher, just in the future.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi version of those two.
Yeah,
I love Judge Dredd.
I like the movie, but it's not a superhero. That's the way I look at it. Not a superhero.
I heard they're having a new Batwoman coming out.
Do they?
Yeah.
How about Iron Fist?
Oh,
I mean, you gotta like that because of the kung fu, Dan.
Well, yeah, but it just doesn't do anything for me.
Luke Cage.
I like the show, but I just go, eh. I mean, so as part of all that, so I've got my list. Here it is: Batman, Wolverine, Professor X, Thor, and Raven.
Interesting.
Yeah. Thor's technically like Superman. He's an alien, a god.
No, he's not. He chose to come to Earth to save it and become more mortal-like.
Oh.
Well, he was assigned that duty by his father. He's the guardian of Midgard. Now, come on now.
And he's the protector
Of
of the
the
Nine.
Yes. Yes.
oh, sweet.
Yeah, so there you go. I really like the Raven character. So
Well, in fact, Thor is the analog for Aquaman. If Aquaman is a manifestation of Poseidon.
yeah, but I
can't get into it, and I'll tell you exactly why. I am a huge Stargate fan, and I always have been. And Jason Momoa was in Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, I love that show.
I loved it except for him.
What do you like this
So
character?
he's your Ben Affleck.
Yes, that's fair statement. I think he's a horrible piece of shit actor. I mean, look, man, you can criticize, like, for instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger all you want, especially in his early action films. But I think that was part of the shtick.
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm not criticizing him, but people have. I'm just reporting. And I think that in some cases it's a fair criticism, but I think those action movies in part were based on that. Whereas Jason Momoa and everything he's in, to me, is the manifestation of somebody that admittedly is handsome and looks good, was in the right place at the right time, and got these parts. And he belongs nowhere near anybody else that's on that screen.
That's how I feel about Ben Affleck. Because he was friends with Matt Damon, he gets movies.
Maybe. So, okay, so then who's the lower tier actor? Ben Affleck or Jason Momoa?
Well, in my opinion, it's definitely Ben Affleck.
See?
The only thing lower than Ben Affleck is Nicolas Cage.
See, well, and then in my opinion, it's Jason Momoa. So, Ken, you have to break the tie.
Oh gosh.
Wasn't a tie. It's what's in your bottom five. I mean,
I like Momoa better than I like Affleck.
All right, there you go.
Affleck. Dude, how can, and also on top of that, it's not even have to do with their characters. How can you be married to Jennifer Garner and not be happy? You know what I mean?
that's why I say he's the only person to ruin 3 superheroes.
Because this is what you have to accept, man. For every beautiful, smart, gorgeous woman in the world, there's a dude that's tired of putting up with their shit.
No, I totally agree. But
No, I don't agree. I think it goes the other way around because there's plenty of people that have gotten tired of me too. So I'm perfectly fine with that. It goes both ways.
Of course it does. Of course it does. I'm just answering the man's question. Well, man, should we talk about technology in academia?
Sure.
What would you do if you had Ben Affleck as a professor? Would you drop the class?
He'd be the type of guy that slept with
I'd
all.
be putting Visine in his coffee.
You cannot. You just really dislike him, don't you?
He's like name a movie.
Phantoms.
Paycheck.
Oh, horrible.
Reindeer Games.
In every movie.
Good
There's
Will
no
Hunting.
Strange.
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl was good, but he didn't make that movie good.
as I said, in every movie he has played a horrible role. Every next year he'll be like Reindeer Games.
I said that.
That's horrible.
Oh, dude, I'll go to the well. Batman versus Superman.
He
Perfect.
was horrible. He was done. Horrible.
No, man, he was. Listen, I may agree with you that he's a bottom tier actor, but he was a fantastic Batman in that setting.
They should have had me as Batman. I'd have been much better.
Look, see, and this is why I'm surprised you didn't list yourself as the best superhero. Honestly,
I don't have any superpowers.
Well,
You're Dan. You go to Michigan.
That's true. I'm just a Michigangster. That's it.
oh wow.
God.
So, are you going to exclusively?
And besides, I'm not a hero. I'm much more of a villain.
Maybe to your staff you are.
A bit more Lex Luthor like.
Yeah.
So, are you going to exclusively recruit interns from Michigan now?
I might just to start.
Would you take an intern from MIT?
Yeah, MIT's. I got accepted there, so I'm fine. It's the place that's off the list is Kellogg. As a matter of fact, anywhere I go, anyone that works for me that went to Kellogg is going to be gone the next day. I don't like how they treated me during the recruiting process. It was really horrible.
Right.
That's the way Vanderbilt was.
And
That's why I went to Capital over Vandy.
yeah, that process meant to anyone that works for me that went to Kellogg will be gone the next day. And then if you go back to Kellogg and be like, you should probably treat people more like professionals and treat them with kindness rather than be a bunch of jerks. Like literally the lady that interviewed me said she probably felt, and I gave like the same answers to everywhere, that I should go somewhere like Wharton, that it's just not the right type of person to go to Kellogg. She would expect my answers from someone that would go to Wharton.
So subtext she is calling you Trump.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Ken.
Okay.
As a full-time academic, are you ever asked to participate in like admissions recruiting events?
Oh Lord, all the time.
How do you feel about that? I'll go first.
Okay.
I don't get asked often. The only time it really comes up is if I want to. The new thing is if you want to go to a conference, admissions is going to go to and get a booth as a vendor, and then in order for the school to fund it, you have to work the booth. All the times I went to DEF CON the last few years, except for the 1 year with Dan at Sound Circle, I've worked that booth. I actually like it, not because I like selling, but because I like talking to people that are prospective students or alumni, and trying to create like a community within the academic vertical, but also because who's better positioned to recruit to a program than the people that are in the program?
Yeah,
that's my take on it.
No, I agree. I just, coming from the corporate world to here, I just am tired of doing those events after all these years.
Yeah.
So I haven't done one in a while, but when I first started here, I was pretty gung-ho about helping out and doing recruiting and stuff. But now I'm just like, I'd rather go home.
I have to say something, Ken. I'm really proud of you. You finally got rid of those stupid AirPods.
They're just not working. I upgraded to Mojave, so. You know what? There's probably someone from Michigan MBA that worked on that team at Apple. So
no, we would never, get all that dirt and filth on our hands.
Michigan is an Android-only shop.
That's right.
Oh God. I just, as for recruiting, I just don't enjoy it. I mean, I had a sales job at Dell for 5 years, 5.5 years. I hated it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to escape the thought that it's sales, because it is, right? I try to not approach it that way. When you do it, do you get to count it as part of your service to the institution?
Yeah, and they want us to put it in. We use something called Sedona, which is like a electronic repository of everything we've done, for the university, what our research is, and the classes taught. So everything falls under those three areas. So like I'm on Senate faculty. if I go do an event, I'm definitely putting it in there. I have a lot of, I do something with the education department on campus. It's called like the Pencil Foundation. And they bring in all these fifth graders from low-level schools. Mm-hmm. And basically what I do is I come in and show them some of the things we're working on at Lipscomb in computing. So I usually show them some VR stuff or augmented reality stuff. They just eat that stuff up. Actually, it's a good segue, because things like that, Dan, what could Ken and I do as academics, let's say running or designing these kinds of, let's call them day camps or week-long camps, do to get more people better prepared to get into or get through the pipeline to employers like you? Like, are there specific things? And I don't mean like specific job duties, but when you go to hire somebody and onboard them, my opinion has always been that the onboarding should just be a cultural HR thing. It shouldn't be, this is how you actually do your job.
The interesting part about that is it's really, to me, it's the intangibles. Anyone can, and for the most part, can read a book, pass a test, things like that, right? Those students that to me that have like the 4.0 GPA, for the most part, the norm, I would say, is I'm not interested in them. Because I feel at that they didn't challenge themselves. What did they do? What did they grow? How did they learn? The undergrad. I mean, there's always the exception. Because there's people that drive themselves, but if they're just doing purely the academics and there's nothing else there that's well-rounding them, then I don't feel like they have enough to be able to show me how they can be creative and solve problems that aren't in a textbook.
Right. So you mean extracurriculars like club activities, club leadership, research.
And I take it further, because I tell my students, internships are critical. I said, you should go get an internship at the end of your your sophomore year, your freshman year, if you can, because you get a chance to do an internship 4 different places over 4 years. You get a taste of what the real world's like. That's a good resume builder. And you're much more, and I think you're much more attractive to someone like Dan than that 4.0 student who just did academic work.
Right. I want to see multiple things going on at the same time, because that's life. Did you go to school full time? Did you have a job while you were also going to school full time? Because that's life. You're going to have to juggle competing agendas. And how did you manage that? If you just did, I'm just going to school and this is it, then I don't feel like you had a struggle. I don't feel like there was anything to build character.
Yeah, well, I mean, that certainly reveals a lot about somebody's personality, particularly what you're talking about there with what their stress tolerance is.
Yeah.
Are they going to be a classic, I show up at 9, take my hour lunch and clock out at 5 and fuck off, I'm not even thinking about it? Yeah. Or are they the personality that's going to come in and work as much as they can because that's how they tick? And I'm not saying one is necessarily preferable for the other. It's really, I think, dependent upon what their job is. But those are 2 different types of personalities.
Yep. I want to do whatever it takes to succeed.
That tends to be the tech, especially from our background in startups, the mentality that's necessary.
Yeah, I don't care if it's a 40 hours or 60 hours. You do whatever it takes. And I mean, here I am. I did not plan on getting promoted. I'd already signed up for an MBA. At a top 10 school, Michigan.
You must have cleaned out the bookshop with like their swag.
No, not yet. I've got other things I still need to get, but I have. And then this is great. So some vendor trying to get on my good side and sent me this because he can't get a meeting with me. So he knows that I'm going to Michigan. So he's done his research. It might work. I'll give him to one of my guys to go talk to him now. I was not expecting to get promoted and do an MBA and have my oldest son start coming to live with me full time all at the same time. But what's going to happen from this, and even from where I'm going to grow even more as an individual because of this struggle I'm having to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same principles. If you want to get stronger, you have to progressively lift heavier weight.
Yes, you have to be forged in the fire.
Well, I mean, right? You can't put, let's say, 100 pounds on a barbell and for the rest of your life only lift 100 pounds. You'll get strong enough to lift that 100 pounds and then never get any stronger.
Right. So I'm going to see that in prospective students. Show me what you're made of. I had this cat come in here and they said their favorite class was networking. Wrong thing. All right. So then I started drawing up on the board. He's like, it's been a little while since I've done any of the networking. I'm like, okay.
See, that's why I think part of a resume too, especially for entry level coming out of a 4-year or even a 2-year, really should be more about capturing the mistakes you've made and how you adapted to life such that that mistake doesn't get repeated. Right? It's not about what you learned. It's about what did that learning foment? What did it cause to happen? How is it an agent of change? And yeah, how much are you willing to bury yourself? I mean, look, the same situation more or less happened to me. I was at Capital. I got invited to go to Cal Poly, and I ended up taking a full-time load there. I had a kid, and the next thing you know, Dan calls me and says, hey, do you want to work full-time for Summit Circle? Yeah, sure. Fuck it, why not? Why not? Well, because at some point you won't be able to, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think that's
on
true
your
for
breaking
me.
point. You don't know your breaking point?
You're just coasting.
Well, I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? You have to wake up and admit to yourself that you can't do it, so you quit some of it? Is that really that bad? It's egotistically painful. But, dude, I can't run that fast. You know how I figured that out? Because I tried to run real fast.
You think you could run faster if a bear was chasing you?
I wouldn't have to, man. The bear's my friend. That's my spirit animal. When I was deep in the shaman dreams, I'm serious, man. When I was deep in the shaman dream world, that was my spirit animal, man. A big grizzly and a raven. I also had a raven. I'm not making that up. That's true, man.
I'm not doubting you. Oh,
that kind of killed that conversation. Sorry.
It did. But there's something that, in terms of transitioning slightly, I have to bring this up, even though we're a little early for our Eric Cole.
Oh yeah. Well, no, this is actually a good segue because I think we can all agree part of what the educational experience should be, by definition, is preparing you to learn and critically think.
That is true. And so, normally we tend to predict before Eric Cole makes his predictions, because we can predict what he's going to predict because it hasn't changed in like 10 years. He just changes the order. Right. So I was reading on LinkedIn from this cat, Jason Clark. And this is what's funny to me. So he puts out his some of the predictions that he believes is going to happen by 2025. So 2018. And what he puts first on the list is what everyone seems to be putting on their list every year, which is this is finally going to be the year that passwords go away. We move to multi-factor authentication. They've been wrong every year because passwords still exist and no one's getting rid of them. So what he does is says, by 2025, passwords will be the exception, not the norm. I guess if you put it out that far in advance, you might be right. But I'm going to say right now, I don't believe he's going to be right still. I think until the even people of our generation, because there's a lot of people in our generation that are just not tech savvy, and the baby boomers for the most part are not tech savvy either. Right. So until those groups are no longer in technology, they basically incapacitated in some way, shape, or form because they've either died off or they're so old they're not using it anymore. I think passwords will still be prevalent. But I guess it's safe to put a prediction that's that far out in advance. Since you've been wrong for the last 15 years, you might as well go ahead and put it out there. Now, there is some on here that I think are actually true, because I've been saying this for a while. There won't be a CISO. What's that?
No more firewalls. Was that on there?
Yes. But here's the funny part about the no more firewalls. They said it's going to be built into the systems and applications. Dude, that already happens. It's called Windows Firewall, Linux Firewall. It's already there.
By the way, to interject, Ken, did you catch how Dan thinks these are going to be true because he thought of them first?
It's true. But I've already been saying this. The CISO is not going to exist in that many years. They're going to be they're going to be a risk function. That's all they are today.
Agreed. I agree with that.
I'm good with that. And this one actually is also true because we've been talking about it quite a bit. Vulnerability management and pen testing will be 99% automated. It pretty much is now. The vulnerability management piece is.
Sure.
But pen testing, it's getting there. This one, I don't even know how you could say something like this, but I think he may have watched Demolition Man. Dude, not every restaurant's going to be Taco Bell. But because he says that we will only have 5 security vendors in the marketplace.
Oh,
only 5?
5.
That's like 5 cell phone vendors. He's way off on that one.
Yeah.
What does this guy do?
So he's
he doesn't critically think.
So at Optiv now, I don't know what he does. He's I don't know, trying to write a book or something. But his name is Jason Clark. So he used to be the CISO at Optiv. Let's see, where is he at now? It's just, he's the chief strategy officer at Netscope.
But you're right though, man. I mean, this is why things like Nostradamus and horoscopes work so well, because if you make them vague enough and you project them out far enough, inevitably parts of it are going to be true, such that the unwashed masses buy into it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just another form of like self-gaslighting. Is really what it is.
So I think this is funny when they put these things out there and they just have no real connection with what people are actually doing.
Right.
You could say maybe corporations will ensure that passwords don't exist, because I mean, all he really did was, possibly listen to Satya speech at Ignite, where he said, we're looking to move our Windows operating system to be a passwordless system. Yeah, great. But normal people are not going to spend the money to have this type of technology, and normal people don't have the technological background to be able to implement it at a cost that is worth it to them.
Well, you can look at it from a business angle, which I'm sure you've looked at, is saying that passwords aren't going to exist is ignoring that that's the consequent of an antecedent. So what's the shift in the technology, like you were just saying about Microsoft, such that passwords are no longer the viable market strategy for handling authentication? There has to be an alternative. And that alternative has to be preferred across the population for the change to happen. Otherwise, there's no market pressure.
Dude, how about this?
Yeah, I should go to Ross.
I haven't looked at it yet, and I'm starting to look at it right now. But what's the bet that this cat, all of his predictions have to do directly with his company?
Well, sure. It's subtextual strategy, which is really just fancy marketing, right?
Almost all of them are in here.
Are you serious? Oh, gosh.
I have no respect. As a matter of fact, I have so little respect now, I'm just removing this cat from LinkedIn right now. I just don't even want to see it anymore. It's literally...
And he didn't go to Michigan anyway, so there's your second reason to get rid of him.
Unfollow. Done. And remove.
I got a prediction. I'm going to do an online master's at Ohio State University. Just because then we can have Buckeyes versus Wolverines.
You won't do it.
And I get grandfathered since I was born in Ohio.
You won't do it.
Sure I will. Let's pick one. Let's pick one.
Do they have a master's in basket weaving?
Oh, here we go. How about a specialized master in business analytics? And then I can teach you about business.
I don't know. I mean, you would have something from Ohio State, but I mean, I don't think anyone in Ohio State's really a business leader.
Oh, wow. See, this is why I have to do it. I'm compelled. This is through the Fisher College of Business.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I literally just
my MBA, so 11 years ago, so I don't need another one.
Well, does it really count if it wasn't a top 10 school though, Ken?
Yeah.
Does it count? Wait, which school did you not select because they were dicks?
Vanderbilt.
No, not you.
Kellogg.
Well, Vanderbilt. Kellogg.
Dude, you're not getting in there. Right? Don't worry. Because they're just like you. You're really not going. You have a better shot at everywhere else. It's Northwestern.
Yeah, no. I'm looking at it.
Because they're going to interview you, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, you definitely don't." Your the appearance is going to go, no. They want like uptight Midwestern people, I think.
I'll take that. I'll take that challenge.
They need people who can only wear ties. Sorry, Jason.
I got a tie built in, bitch.
Is it a pre-done one?
Look at my fucking throat, cocksucker. That's how businesslike I am. It's permanent.
You went all in.
He did.
Now I want to apply just to see what they'll say. I'm not bored enough yet. That'll give me something to do over winter.
Yeah, they were just like they had me come out to the campus, interviewed there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were complete jerks there. So I'm like, all right, this one's done. I'm not gonna. So then they interview me again, and we're jerks again. And I'm like, why? I'm like, in the third interview, I was like, I just don't think this is going. I'm like, why do you keep doing this each time? I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it. Then I was just kind of hoping they would say, yeah, we accept you, so I can just reject them.
The reason they do it is the same reason that Harvard brags that they reject 90% of their undergrad applicants, because it creates a sense of exclusiveness, which allows them to demand the prices they do. It's listen, man, I'm not shitting on Harvard or any school, really. Education's education when you really break it down. What you learn at Harvard isn't materially different than what you learn in any other school, topic for topic. What's different is the environment. And I'm not saying that doesn't matter. In fact, I would argue the exact opposite. It does matter. The environment has a lot to do, particularly with future success. But let's not kid ourselves. That's what it is.
Right. I mean, and where they're located, it really has a large part as to what that experience is going to be. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a reason why Michigan is a lot more about general management and leadership and operations because of the manufacturing that's going on there with cars. Kellogg is much more for people that are looking to go be consultants because there's a lot of consulting companies that are in Chicago. Yes. So I mean, it's all based on what they're trying to market towards, because they're essentially thinking you're going to be there. Like Harvard's probably an exception. I don't think Sloan's that much of an exception because they're in Boston, and it just so happens to be one of the highest places for startup companies. Harvard kind of goes all over the place, so I don't really think that they really cater much towards startups. But I mean, I guess they could. It's really interesting that they're basically across the street from one another.
Yes,
and how those two campuses can compete and still be, Harvard goes back somewhere. They're always in the top 3. Sometimes Sloan is in the top 5. Sometimes it's top 10. Just depends on which one you want to look at.
Right.
But then you've got Haas, which is out in California, and then I don't remember what Stanford's one is. But it's interesting that it's basically based on the industry that is there. And that's largely because of the research that they do.
That's right.
So, anyway, I don't think you would want to. You know, Kellogg is not where you would want to go.
Oh, dude, I don't really want to do another degree. I have better things to do, but I'll do it just to oppose you.
Just to hate you.
I wonder. I don't think you could get into Ohio State either. I think they're going to look at you and be like, that permanent tattoo there is just not my kind. You're probably better off going to some place in California
or Oregon. You know, where all the liberals are and stuff. So.
Wait, only liberal people have tattoos?
No, it's not just a tattoo I'm referring to. I'm talking about the whole personality.
The hoodie, the hipster glasses.
Yeah, the hipster. It's the hipster part, not that. It's the whole person.
Hey, Ken, why don't you go fix your fucking ear pods? Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
I do have to say something funny is I remember when Jason, when you first came to Nashville for that women's, you did like a women's conference or something.
It was the WICYS, WICYS, I think it is. It's still running. They haven't had it back at Nashville. But yeah, that's why I was there.
So yeah, I remember when you came and I told Kara, like, we're going to go on a double date with Jason and his wife, and she had never seen you before. So we pull up and Jason and his wife are sitting out front, and he's got short sleeve shirts on and he's got all these tats, and she goes, "Is that your chair?" So I was like, "That's my chair." So it's like,
you know who ended up trying to recruit me from that event? NYU Poly.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I got all the way to the point of discussing specifics, and then it changed from a full-time tenure track to more like a program coordinator position. And no thanks. I ain't moving to Manhattan for that.
Ugh. New York.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
That was actually a good conference, man. It's still going on. I haven't talked to Anne Breen, was the faculty member from the university there that started that through an NSF grant. I had met her at NIT, at a conference at NIST where I presented some research.
Yeah, it was like 6 years ago.
Oh, there's an interesting little circle here just to complete the thought. This is what I was thinking of. You've met Garima, Dan.
Yeah.
That's how Garima got to Capitol, was through Anne Breen.
Oh, really?
Through this conference. Yeah, that's how she ended up. Anne Breen remembered Helen, and Helen was there, and she connected Garima with Helen.
I'm still so disappointed in her not coming on the show.
I talked to her. She's going to. I got invited to do a speaking event for IEEE, and I got her to schedule it when I'm there for the residency. And
so she's going to come on the show because she was like, no. She's like, I want to debate you. I'm like, but she's only willing to do it in person, never on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
she said she'd be willing to. I mentioned it. I said, because while I'm there, if you do it the Saturday of residency, I'll come a few days before. And we can do like a Thursday or even the day after a Sunday podcast, and you can come on and express yourself. And she said she was down for it.
She says that, but then she's going to have that big smile that she has, and she's like, "No, I can't do it. It's going to just be like, you know, the Michelle Jones.
That guy.
He won't come on either.
He said he's going to be there when I come. By the way, I talked to him the other day.
Yeah, he'll be there. Or he says he will.
Yeah. Well.
Oh,
I think that's it, guys. We made good ground. Superheroes, business, preparing students. That's a good Thursday.
Yeah.
And needing to go fix his AirPods.
Yeah. I don't know how the guy can even hear us.
What? They work fine. I just updated my OS and now I can't connect them. So it's probably my fault. It's something I've done. So.
Did you turn Bluetooth back on?
That's all right. It all comes full circle. So,
hey man, listen, I may be a hippie with a hoodie, but I know how to use Bluetooth.
That's why, and that's the reason why he's got connected earphones in.
Because I've used Bluetooth.
It sucks.
It does.
No matter what you do, a good Bluetooth headset is still not able to produce the quality of a plugged-in, cheapest earplugs that you can find.
Fuck that. It can't consistently connect to the same device.
I
That's
know.
the problem.
I hate that. I'll finish with this because maybe we'll talk about this on a next Sunday one. So when I'm on my trainer, I use a Bluetooth headset, right? Because we talked about this on Sunday with the cord and being exercising. It's not smart. And so I have my phone in here and my computer that I actually connect to over Bluetooth because of the trainer and its computer and stuff, right? Dude, when you turn on a Bluetooth device, even just let me Morse code it in through the button presses like device 1, device 2, device 3. Why doesn't that exist? That's the most retarded shit I've ever figured out. And then so how does the algorithm actually determine which device to connect to? Is it the first one you ever paired it to? Because I've unpaired it and repaired it, and it still does that. Is it proximity only? That's retarded, man. God, I hate it.
I have a feeling it has to do with the Bluetooth MAC address ID, whichever one's lower. If I had to guess.
Now, these are both Apple devices, and that's what's interesting.
So then it's going to be based on which one was produced first.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
That's my guess. I don't know, but
Because it'll
I
connect to my phone like that, but to my laptop. All right.
Could have been a great protocol.
could.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just
That's-
like Capital could have been a really good program. Really good.
Ooh, shots fired.
What happens when you change leadership and you go from strong leadership to weak?
I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say.
All
Other
right,
than
folks.
that's episode 91.
All right, everyone.
No show on Sunday. I'm traveling, but we'll regroup next Thursday, guys.
Sounds great.
All right, everybody. Have a good week.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.